Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you've been doing well. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to go through my entire designer shoe collection and also show you wear and tear on each of the items. So I have on my notes roughly when I purchased each of these shoes, and I think I'm going to try to go in chronological order with some exception. But before I go into all of the shoes, I think I've had a realization that I am pretty much at shoe piece. I think I don't really need to get any more designer shoes. Obviously, this might change. There might be other items that I later decide I want to get, but I think for now, there really isn't a burning need in my collection. I think I have pretty much all the bases covered for my lifestyle. I have a lot of boots, especially low-heeled walking boots that are very comfortable. I have a pair of loafers, I have sandals, I have high heels. I'll go into this a little bit more detail, which each of the shoes and the wear and tear, but a lot of the shoes I have aren't super comfortable, and I think I've just decided to kind of put my money more towards fine jewelry and bags at this point because these shoes are really expensive and a lot of them have a lot of wear and tear, especially if you factor in the wear and tear for the cost per wear. When you think about bags and fine jewelry, they don't get as much wear and tear because they're kind of on your person versus on the feet and hitting the ground. And I think I've just realized that my money is probably going to be better spent going towards fine jewelry and bags. So, like I said, I still think that I'll probably add a pair or two here and there, but I don't think I'm going to be as focused on designer shoes in the long run. So, without further ado, let's get started. These are my first pair of designer shoes. These are the Chloe Susanna boots. So, I did get these in March of 2020, so they're just a little over 2 years old, and I have to say, these are probably one of my favorite pairs of shoes. I wear them constantly. I still get compliments on them. I know some people might think the style is slightly outdated, but to me, I think they're pretty timeless. And yeah, even when I wear them out, I still get compliments on them. I did get them resoled at the bottoms, so you can see they are kind of dirty, but you can kind of see where my cobbler added the reinforcements up here and then also down here. You can see this part has worn off, so at some point soon I'm probably going to need to get these resoled a little bit, but other than that, they look great. The leather is buttery, buttery soft. I did get these in a 36 and a half. I sized down, which I almost never have to do. I'm generally 37 or 37 and a half. Sometimes I size up to a 38 and 38 and a half because I do have slightly wider feet, but these ones, I don't know if it's just my feet in particular, so if you have Chloe Susanna's, let me know how your experience has been. But when I tried on the 37s, I found that my heel was coming up within the shoe, so I really needed to size down. I think for some reason they're just longer than wider, if that makes sense. So they were a little bit snug on the sides right here, but you can kind of see where they've kind of stretched out a little bit, and they are much more comfortable to wear now. I will say maybe one thing I didn't think of when I purchased these was if I did get the 37, I probably could have gotten those cushions that you put inside the shoe to make them more comfortable. And I wouldn't say these are uncomfortable shoes because they are flat and they have a very low heel, and this leather, once it's stretched out and is a little bit more molded to your feet, it is comfortable, but it's still not a shoe that I would wear every single day. It's definitely not as comfortable as a sneaker. So that's one thing to consider if you're looking at these shoes. But yes, I love these shoes. I think they look great beyond having to get this part fixed up at some point. I think for 2+ years of wearing them fairly constantly, they look really good. And here is the other one just so you guys can see. And yes, the bottoms are pretty dirty. Do need to get them resoled. The next pair of designer shoes I have are the Gucci Jordan loafers, and these are black with gold hardware, or brass hardware, I should say. I do love these. I also got these reinforced with the rubber bottoms, but you can definitely see the wear and tear. These I got in a 37, which is my true size, and they were a little bit snug on the sides, but you can see that there is, they have molded to my feet a little bit, and you can see a little bit of wear where it's been wrinkled. I do think this is very normal wear and tear, so I'm not too worried about that. And over time, they have become a lot more comfortable than they were at first. So I love these shoes. I think they look great. I think these are classic. So definitely a big fan of the Gucci Jordans. These are the ones where you can't fold down the bottom. It's at the Brixton, I think it's the Brixton loafers that have the little crease right here where you can kind of fold them down. I personally wasn't a big fan of that look, and I just really liked the way that these looked with the sides like this. So I decided to go for the Jordans, and very happy. I would say these are definitely some of my favorite shoes. The only sort of wear I noticed was that where I got the soles, the rubber part added, that it's just coming off very slightly, so I will need to get that fixed at some point, but not a big deal. And that's only on that one. It's totally perfect on this side. We are continuing on in 2020. These are the Choo Cruz boots. I did size up and got these in a 38. I think I even could have sized up to a 38 and a half and gotten the insoles to have made these more comfortable. I won't say these are the most comfortable shoes. I think my Chloe Susannas are a little bit more comfortable than these are, but considering they are fairly flat and have a combat boot style, so you can see the bottom part, I do think that they are comfortable for what they are. I did not get the bottoms reinforced because they're already this kind of like rubbery material, so no real need to get them reinforced. So for the wear and tear, there definitely is some wear and tear on this, not so much on the shoe itself, but definitely on the pearl and crystal. So you can kind of see it's really only when you get to this side. So trying to make sure that focuses. You have one of the pearls missing here, and then two of the crystals on this side have fallen off, and one of the crystals over here has fallen off, but the holding is still there, but these two have fallen off cleanly. So I'm not really sure why that is. I think it's because sometimes when I walk, my feet sort of hit against each other, and so it's possible over time that they have just fallen off that way. That is definitely kind of a disappointment considering how expensive designer shoes are, but at the same time, I have worn these quite a bit, so I guess your mileage may vary. I think on this side, they're fine. As far as I can tell, yeah, as far as I can tell, the side looks fine. So this is the other side. This is what they would look like if all the crystals and pearls were still on there. So it's really just the left shoe. And maybe part of it is just how I'm walking, but I have noticed a few times that I've sort of like rubbed this side up against my other shoe, and that's probably when it happened, although I couldn't pinpoint or tell you exactly what day I had been wearing these when these fell off. I had just noticed this pretty recently. And here are the Giuseppe Zanotti metallic booties I picked up in November of 2020. I love these. These are coming off a little bit more yellow in the light right now, but these are just a really fun bright gold, and there's no zipper or anything, and this part stretches out a little bit so you can slip them on and off. I did get the bottoms reinforced, and they look really, really great. No significant wear and tear. There's maybe like a little bit of little spotting like right here, but yeah, they look really, really good, and these are super comfortable. The only thing is, did I get these in a 37 and a half? Yes, I got these in a 37 and a half. And the only thing is I do think I could have sized up to a 38 because they're so tight on, which is kind of good because they stay on your feet. But when I get home at the end of the day and my feet are just a little bit swollen, getting them off my feet is such a struggle. I have to pull so hard, but I think these look so good and I love wearing them out. These are super, super fun, comfortable booties. Also in November of 2020, I picked up the Choo Bings, and these are in the 100 millimeter. I haven't worn these as much as I've worn the Choo Cruz one, so the combat boot style, so these all look great. I haven't noticed any wear and tear on the band right here. And yeah, they are such beautiful, beautiful shoes, and they still look pretty great. But again, these are a dressier pair of shoes, so I haven't worn them as much as I've worn my boots. But so far, so good on these. And I did get these in a 37 and a half. I would say personally, they're not the most comfortable. They did make my feet hurt at the end of the evening, but also you can wear them and walk in them for a while before you start to feel them. Okay, now we are moving on to spring of 2021. So about a year ago, I sort of went on a little bit of a YSL tribute spree. I bought all of these within the same 2 months, so I think March and April of 2021. And here are the tribute flats, and these are in a gorgeous, gorgeous kind of like dusty rose color. I think this is probably one of my favorite colors. It goes so well with all sorts of different outfits, and I have worn these a lot. I wore these in Hawaii, I wore these in Las Vegas, any summery warm vacation, I've taken these on. I will say they are not the most comfortable. They are super flat, which is nice, but the problem is there's literally no cushioning whatsoever, and after a while they will make your feet hurt. I have gotten a lot of blisters from where my feet are right here, and also like kind of where my toes were rubbing, like right here at the very top. I got some blisters as well. So definitely beautiful shoes, not the most comfortable. I got these, what size did I get these? A 38. So, and you can see the bottoms are very worn. I have worn these quite a lot. There's a little bit of some scuffing here, but that's kind of to be expected. And it does say Saint Laurent Paris right here. So beautiful shoes, definitely not the most comfortable, but very, very stylish. And here are the tributes in patent leather. I wore these out to a wedding last September, and I have to say they were fairly comfortable for what they were. I was able to kind of dance in them all night and I didn't have any issues. I do think that part of the reason is because of this little platform. It does make it feel like that your heel isn't as high up as opposed to if this was on the bottom and then you had a higher heel right here. And I have these in the patent leather, which I think are really shiny and kind of dress up your outfit a little bit more. So I do really like these, and I got these in a 38. I don't remember if these gave me blisters. I'm pretty sure they didn't. So that's a really good sign. And I also have the tributes in the espadrille version, and I do really like these. They're comfortable. I will say my only regret is they are a little bit too high. I think these are in the 105 millimeter, whereas these are the 75, and it actually makes a pretty big difference, just that extra height. So even though they're comfortable, I still feel like because they're so high, it's interesting because it's like even though they're flat, you wouldn't think that you would trip in these, but because you could go like this or like this, I'm a little bit worried about twisting my ankle. So just because if I were to fall down in such high shoes, that would be pretty disastrous. And I do have these in the white, and these are in the regular leather, so the matte leather, not patent. But overall, they would say they're very, very comfortable, but you do need to be careful when you're walking in them, because I think when you're walking in these, you think they're so comfortable and flat. So if you do trip on them, it could be pretty bad. And I haven't worn these as much, so I would say this would be a shoe I would consider selling. But at the same time, I have a lot of outfits that this would go really well with. So I'm kind of on the fence about that. We are now moving into Hermes, and so I picked these up, both these pairs at the same time in Hawaii in September of last year. And here are the orans in gold, and I do really, really love these. I haven't worn them a ton. I did wear them a lot in Las Vegas recently, and I did get a little bit of blisters, but I think that was because I was switching them off with the YSL Tribute flats, depending on my outfit, and they still look really, really great, mostly just because I think I was wearing them inside the casinos and a little bit on the street, but I didn't do too much walking in these, and they still look really, really good. I sized up to a 38. There's a little bit of wrinkling here. I think that's normal wear and tear. If you also have the orans, let me know how yours have fared, but these are really, really nice, and again, pretty flat, but there's a little bit more cushioning here than there are on the tributes. So I do think these are slightly more comfortable than the YSL Tribute flats. And I have the Oasis sandals in white. I don't know if it's because it's white. It's probably just because it's a lighter color, but I do feel like the wrinkling is way more prominent on these. And I did wear these a lot more than I have worn the orans. So I also got these in a 38. For some reason, these gave me the most terrible blisters, like right on my pinky toe. And I think it might just because I have whiter feet. I'm not really sure, to be honest. But yeah, these gave me the most painful blisters right here. I'm hoping maybe now that they've quote unquote broken in, I don't know if I will continue to get blisters as I wear them, but that has been a little bit painful. And again, the wrinkling is very, very prominent. So let me just try to compare the wrinkling. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I think it's just because these are white that the wrinkling shows up more, so it's a little bit of a bummer. I kind of wish it wasn't as wrinkly, but what can you do? I do love the little bit of height that this shoe gives you, because I really think these are very easy to dress up or dress down. You can wear these with jeans, but you can also wear these with summer dresses, and I think they look really, really good. So here are the Hermes Oasis sandals, once again in size 38. Hey guys, really quickly, as I was putting all my equipment away, I just realized I forgot to tell you about the Chloe Susanna boots, and these are in the beige. I did get these on a Black Friday deal at Essence this past November, so they are fairly new, but I still have worn them a lot, and there is a little bit of wear and tear, so mostly just kind of like right here, there's some scuffing, and I think that's just because of the way that I walk, and these are a lighter colored leather, so any sort of scuffing would show up so much more than they do on the black versions, but I still really love these. And you know, the scuffing isn't too bad because it's kind of on the bottom and in the back and not necessarily on the front, but yeah, these still look pretty good. Again, I haven't had these as long as I've had the black ones, but I got the same size, 36.5. There's a little bit of wear on the sole right there, and probably right here too, so not as bad, but we'll need to eventually get these resold like I will with the black ones. I will say even though I haven't had these for as long, so only a few months versus 2 years, I still wear these a lot. So between these and the black ones, I pretty much wear these. I think I wear these the most out of my designer shoes. So wanted to give you a quick update on that. As I was putting all my gear away, I realized I completely forgot to show you the Chloe Susannas in the beige, but love these shoes so, so much. And let me just show you guys very quickly. Sorry about the shaky camera, but I just put my tripod away, and here they are in the black and the beige. So I think the black are slightly more versatile. I do wear these a lot more, and again, I've had these for 2 years versus just a few months, but I'm still really happy I've added these to my collection. But for me to buy the exact same pair of designer shoes in a different color just definitely shows you how much I love them. So there is that. And lastly, we're moving on to my newest pair of shoes, Manolo's in the Lorem style. And I have to say, these are the prettiest pair of shoes I own, and then they are also the ones that show the most wear and tear, especially considering I pretty much only wore them on one trip. So I did wear them almost every single night of the trip, but that was the first and only time I've worn them. They are also probably the most painful shoes I own, and very, very disappointed in the wear and tear on these. So let me just show you guys. So same thing with the Choo Cruz. Some of the crystals have fallen off. I think two of the crystals right here have fallen off. Now, one good thing about this is because the crystals are kind of this gold color and the holding part of it is also gold, you can't really tell from far away. That being said, these are designer shoes that I spent a pretty penny on, and I can't believe that after one trip that they have already fallen off. Also, there is a lot of wear and tear on the sides right here, and so part of it is probably just how wide my feet are, but I did get blisters right here where it was like this part was rubbing against my shoe, and I do remember as I was walking, there was one time when I felt this part kind of graze against my other foot. I don't want to show you guys because it's really gross, and the blisters have kind of healed right now, but basically it was bleeding. Like this part hit the other side of my shoe where my foot was bare, and it scraped it like really, really badly. And then partly where the wear and tear is right here. So I'm not sure if this is rubber or what, but you can definitely see that it is wearing. I don't want to touch it too much because I don't want it to get worse, but there's a lot of wear right here where my foot was hitting this part and also got a blister there. So yes, these shoes, gorgeous, gorgeous shoes, but very, very painful. I don't think any other crystals are missing, and I think this one is completely fine. So it's the same thing with this one where it's just this side that has fallen off, and I think it must be with a certain way that I walk where sometimes my left foot hits my right foot. I'm not quite sure. Maybe I'm just really clumsy, but yeah, definitely bummed about these. I will say, oh, and there's also a lot of wear and tear here. I'm not really sure what that's from, probably just from hitting myself. Luckily, because it's a gold shiny, in certain lights it's a little bit harder to tell, but yeah, considering how expensive these shoes were, it is a little bit of a bummer, but they're so gorgeous. And you can also see, oh, this is definitely a lot of wear and tear, like right here. So if you have the satin version, I'd be curious to know what your wear and tear has been, but at least the gold mesh ones, can't say that they were really worth it, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends, right? They're so beautiful and they bring me such joy to wear, even if they are painful. But at the same time, it is a little bit of a bummer that there's so much wear and tear just after one trip. So my trip was what, like 5 nights? So I wore these probably 4 of the 5 nights, and 4 times. That is a bit of a bummer. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Would you be disappointed if you wore these shoes after 4 times and had some crystals missing? So that is it. I have 12 pairs of designer shoes. I'm not sure that I will add any more. I will say there are a few Chanel shoes that I've really, really wanted. So if I do add anything, it might be Chanel. I also don't own any designer sneakers, and that's mostly just because I live in a city and I walk a lot, so I wear sneakers pretty much every single day. And San Francisco is kind of a dirty city, to be honest, so I have a really hard time thinking about wearing sneakers that would just get really, really dirty. So I think I'm going to stick to my Nikes and my Allbirds and my New Balances for sneakers for now. So the only thing I would consider maybe purchasing would be Chanel shoes, but I haven't quite decided on which pair yet. But as far as dressy shoes, dressy boots, dressy sandals, casual sandals, I have all that pretty covered in various colors. So I have like gold and nude and black. So I think for the most part, I am at like 95% designer shoe piece. And so for now, I don't foresee adding anything more to my collection, or at least I certainly don't have a burning desire to add anything in my collection for now. So that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Take care, and I will see you next time. Bye.